Shall we start our class today?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, guys. So let's get back to the class. So far, we have discussed here till unit 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yes, madam.
Am I right?
Yes,
We
madam.
have discussed about
ma'am.
communication concepts and nature of communication, need of communication, barriers to communication. Then we have discussed about uh, what are the barriers and what are the types of communications. Now moving to unit 4, that is interpersonal media. Hope you all have books in front of you. Anybody has gone through the notes so far? Anyone? Did you read the notes?
Yes, madam.
Am I audible, guys?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Madam, carry on.
Just a... Yes, ma. Yes. Hello.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Second. I'm just trying to have this book sharing my screen. Just give me a moment.
All right, madam.
My, what did it happen? Let me know whether you can see my screen or not. Is my screen visible?
No, madam.
No, ma'am.
Okay, how many of you have your copies right in front of you, the textbooks? Is it visible now?
Yes, madam.
Yes, it is
Textbook
visible now, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
4.5.
So far we have discussed all this Barriers to communication. Till barriers to communication, we have finished. Now we are in page number 33, that is intrapersonal communication. Right, Ma? Do you remember all this we have discussed in the offline mode of lecture?
Yes, ma'am.
Physical barriers.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I right? Anybody has gone through the notes so far? Any doubts in the previous classes or with the thing that you have read already? Anyone? No? Yeah. So let's start this. Intrapersonal media. Did you see here unit 4?
Yes, madam. Objectives, introduction.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's start with introduction. So what do you mean by intra or interpersonal communication? We have already discussed about this. So I'll just read out and simultaneously try to explain you. Communication is a process of conveying messages. For communication to occur, message. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Yeah. For communication to occur, messages must be composed, transmitted, and understood. This is what we had been discussing. There should be a message. We should, as a source, SMCR, we have already discussed this. Intrapersonal communication or interpersonal communication, group communication, whatever the communication happens, it starts with a message. It should be composed, it should be organized. Before I take a lecture to you, I should prepare my notes. What should be speaking, how I should portray my class, how I should scale up my class. So this is composed, transmitted. So which mode, what is the channel that I'm using to transmit my message, and understood. The potentials of communication as a management tool are so great that it is difficult to recognize them and easy to understand them. Favorable dealings with outside company contacts and effective relationships within an organization depends upon the communication. So what are the communication is basically very important in whichever organization you are there. We need to communicate. Why we need to communicate? To build up our contacts, to work in an effective relationships, to have a mutual understanding between the organization and its surroundings or the publics. Okay, communication has different dimensions: intrapersonal, interpersonal, group communication, mass communication have different impacts on the audiences. Oral communication is the best strategy to be adopted. In group communication, the various formats of meetings and conferences are used to inform and educate the publics. Mass communication in recent years have taken a leap forward and relative appeal, it makes it enormous. So we are in
We lost your voice, ma'am.
hello.
Madam, connected once
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, we lost your voice, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yeah. Now
Yes,
fine.
ma'am.
Clear,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So let's start with intrapersonal and interpersonal communication. Communication is a sum of all things one person does when he wants to create. So let's keep aside what all the notes speaks. So basically, intrapersonal communication we had been discussing from day 1 in unit 2, that is types of communication. The first and foremost is the intrapersonal communication. INTRAPERSONL, intrapersonal communication. What do you mean by intrapersonal communication? Ante, the communication that is happening within oneself, the dialogue that is going inside oneself. Like the best example could be here. The intrapersonal communication happens within the person when he receives a stimuli, in the sense a message. Suppose you're passing by on a road, you smell something. It can be a bad smell, or it can be a food court, or it can be a flower shop, or a fruit shop, or anything that you smell. You have a message. There is something, some communication is happening within yourself. You have somebody to share, you will speak it out. That is interpersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication happens when there is nobody to share the information, and there is a communication happening within oneself. In case you are in a garden and saw a blossom rose, you will feel happy and want to express your joy to others at the beautiful sight. If no one is around to share your experience, you will feel the happiness alone. It is one of the information processing. It means to say external stimuli which you got is internalized, and this process is known as intrapersonal communication. The entire process of thinking within your brain is intrapersonal communication. It is otherwise known as consciousness. In this form of communication, the sender and the receiver are the same. Now, right now, I am taking a lecture through an online mode. Majority of you will have lot of things going on in your mind. Somebody is very attentive in my class, listening to what all the details that I am sharing, or the words that I'm using, or what is the screen I am showing. And somebody is like, they may or might, or physically they are present, but mentally they will be wandering around the thoughts. They'll be thinking of their lunch, or they will be thinking of their friends, or there's lot of dialogue going on inside. You are the sender and you are the receiver. I hope I'm clear with this intrapersonal communication.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes, madam.
So next, moving to, this is further explanation of the same. Dreaming is a subconscious state. We have no control over that. This is the same explanation. You will be further more confused if I go into the detail. So intrapersonal communication basically means when you pray to God, there is a dialogue that is going within oneself. You are the sender, you are the receiver. You are passing by some restaurant or sitting in a restaurant. You have something smell. You will be the sender and you will be the receiver. Okay, the communication that is happening within oneself is intrapersonal communication. INTRA, intrapersonal communication. Next, scaling up to interpersonal communication. Every idea, fact, or opinion is inactive until transmitted and understood. And if the road to hell is paved with good intentions, then the road to failure in management is surely paved with good ideas, poorly communication. However, sound ideas have little impact until they are communicated to persons who may act or develop them further. Communication between two or more persons is interpersonal communication. Here, the main crux of the problem is one-to-one communication. Someone is good in written communication, but in oral communication he is not. He searches for words. The advantage of this type of communication is that we have different direct contact with people, and judging on the responses, we can tune our words. The direct interaction between two or more people helps one to communicate well and also give immediate feedback. So interpersonal communication is basically a type of communication that is
Again, we lost your voice, ma'am.
Guys, you there?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
madam, we are connected, madam.
Yeah, I am connected. Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Yes,
Continue,
ma'am.
madam.
You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Continue, madam.
So interpersonal communication is basically a type of communication that is happening face to face. It can be a sort of interview. It can be an interaction between you and your friend about any topic. You are a sender, you have a message, and you're telling your ideas or information, whatever the interaction that is happening between you and your friend is, interpersonal communication, exchange of ideas, information of ideas, sharing of ideas, or your opinions, sharing of your opinions, informing somebody, educating somebody. Basically, here you are the sender, you have a message, there is a receiver. And the receiver, if he has any doubts or suggestions, there is an immediate feedback. Am I clear? Audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So interpersonal communication is basically a communication that happens between two or more people. And this gives an immediate feedback. Whether the receiver is able to understand your message or not, if he has any doubts or not, he is able to communicate to the sender immediately. Okay?
Okay.
Feedback. Next, moving to feedback. Most of the depend on this system of interpersonal communication to explain the viewpoint to the publics or employees. It can be in the form of one-to-one meetings or group discussions. By communication, the flow of material, information, perception, and understanding between various members of organization is achieved. Of course, this is the very, very important point over here. So most of the organizations, they prefer to use interpersonal communication, which happens on one-to-one, face to face, where the feedback is immediate, where the suggestions, recommendations, or grievances can be immediately received. And if somebody has any doubt or also, they can get clarified then and there. The feedback is immediate. Okay. Communication is a transmission of signals from one person to another. When we communicate, there is an exchange. Something is given and something is received. It involves a conscious use of symbols directed towards some goal. It involves a perception of commonly understood symbolic stimuli of language. Stimuli is nothing but the sort of ideas that are going on in your brain. Okay. Next, value of interpersonal theory. Sorry, guys. I think there is some
No,
network
we are
issue
connected,
at
madam.
my end. Yes. I'm back. One second. Value of interpersonal theory. Several theories on communication are studied by the academicians. The age-old theory of Aristotle, the rhetoric theory, mentions about three elements in communication strategy. That is, the speaker, the speech, and the audience. In the modern days, four theories of communication are popular: social scientific theory, normative theory, working theory, common sense theory. Social scientific theory discusses about the nature, working, and effects of communication derived from systematic and objective observations. The normative theory is concerned about the social values to be observed. It helps in shaping media institutions, and expectations of social agencies. The working theory is based on daily performances of media practitioners. The common sense theory refers to the knowledge and the ideas which everyone acquires by virtue of experience. So, social scientific theory, what does it speak about? It is more or less the nature or the surroundings around us. It can be about our nature, it can be about working culture, it can be effects of communication derived from systematic and objective observations. Suppose you are sitting and watching a nature, how hot it is, it's terrifically hot, lot of humidity. So this is a social scientific theory. These are all the theories. It is purely based on observations, derivings out of observations. Normative theory is basically about the social values to be observed. It helps in shaping media institutes and expectations of social agency. What does it mean? Under normative theory is basically about our responsibility, like governments and their responsibilities towards the society. The working theory is based on daily performances of media practitioners. The common sense theory refers to knowledge and ideas which everyone acquires by virtue of experience. Whatever the experience that you are gaining, it falls under common sense. Working theory is nothing but what is your experience out of the work that you are doing on your daily basis. I hope I am clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
fact that messages are merely conveyed does not guarantee that communication will take place. There are three levels of communication: what the sender says, what the sender thinks he says, what the receiver thinks the sender says. Okay, so this is basically, I have a purpose. I have, like, even my articulation. Suppose let's speak about some examples, like, what is the intention a sender is communicating. What is his intention before he sends a message? What is the intention behind it? What is the time now? This is only an exclamation. Okay, expression ammal. Suppose, what is the time now? So I am a sender. I have this message posted on our chat box. So everybody will have their own perceptions. I have with different intention. Like, I'm just general inquiry of asking people what is the time. Or at the receiver ends, they may be thinking in another fashion. Like, somebody may be thinking, oh, yo, we are deviating from the class. The ma'am is calling, what is the class? Why are you late? Are you able to understand?
Yes,
At
ma'am.
the receiver's end, they have different perceptions. Perception in the sense, their own thinking. I have some idea before I ask some question. Do you understand? Did you understand?
Yes.
Okay, these are the exclamations, expressions. I have with a different, perception. My idea is different when I pose such question. నేను ఇప్పుడు మిమ్మల్ని అర్థమైందా అని అడిగితే ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కో రకంగా అర్థం చేసుకుంటారు. సంబడి మే థింక్ లైక్, మేడం ఈజ్ అబౌట్ ఆస్కింగ్ అబౌట్ ద క్లాస్ ఇన్ ఎ పొలైట్ వే, ఎస్, వెదర్ ఐ హ్యావ్ అండర్స్టూడ్ ఆర్ నాట్. సంబడి మే మీ థింకింగ్, నాకు అర్థం అయినా కాకుండా మేడం ఈజ్ సో బాసీ, షీ ఈస్ కేరింగ్ ద రిసీవర్స్ ఆర్ ద లిజనర్స్. Did you understand? So exclamations, expressions also matter. At the sender's level, I have a different idea before I ask something. The message is transmitted at the receiver's end. It is depending on their own perception. నేను ఒక మెసేజ్ ని ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కోలాగా చదువుతారు. అవునా కాదమ్మా? Am I right?
Right,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right.
Okay, madam.
Are you able to understand?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The number of messages communicated with the maximum effectiveness is far lower than the number that miscommunicates, because they are vague, incomplete, confusing, poorly adopted to the recipient, cut, or late. Peter F. Drucker explained the crucial role of communication, including interpersonal communication in management, in the following ways. So what does Peter Drucker says? We'll read over here. The manager has a specific tool, information. He does not handle people. He motivates, guides, organizes people to do their work, to do their own work. His tool, his only tool to do all this is spoken or written words or the language of numbers. No matter whether the manager's job is engineering, accounting, or selling, his effectiveness depends on his ability to listen and to read, and his ability to speak and to write. He needs a skill in getting the thinking across to other people, as well as skill in finding out what other peoples are after. Of all the skills he needs, today's manager possesses least those of reading, speaking, and figuring out. So basically, what is the job of a manager? He is heading a team, and he has to communicate to his team members. He should be in a position to handle them, organize them, motivate them towards working in a team, towards achieving a common goal. Are you able to understand, guys? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly.
Continue.
Yeah. So this is only an example what he quoted over here. You need not worry from the exam point of view. At the max, they'll ask you to write what are the types of communications that are available. Relationship. I will pay more to deal with the people than any other ability on the earth, says the Rockefeller, famous US industrialist. So this is his opinion, Amma. Relationship. This is one of the interpersonal communications. No? ఇండస్ట్రియలిస్ట్ అయిన రాక్ ఫెల్లర్ ఏమంటున్నాడంటే ఐ విల్ పే మోర్ ఫర్ ది అబిలిటీ టు డీల్ విత్ పీపుల్ than any other ability on the earth. This is only a quotation. You need not worry. If you remember, it's well and good. If not, also you can leave it. Interpersonal communication should develop the intimate relationship for the betterment of the functioning of the organization. So interpersonal communication is very, very important, whether it is an office, whether whichever organization you take, whether it is a college and the students, whether it is an industry and the workers. Yeah, I'm back here. So whatever we are like, am I audible?
Yes, madam. Continue, madam. Please, madam.
Yeah. Interpersonal communication should develop the intimate relationship. Intimate relationship ante to be a close counter. Why do you have a face-to-face, interaction? For the better understanding. Am I right? In a lecture of, class for a 40 students, not all the 40 will come to a teacher with a doubt, right? Why do people come with a doubt? One or two people at the max will approach a lecturer or their team leader for the better understanding of what the message was. Am I able to make it clear?
Yes, madam.
Is it understood what is interpersonal communication?
Yes,
ఇప్పుడు
ma'am.
ఒక లెక్చర్ అవుతుందమ్మా క్లాస్ లా 40 మంది ఉన్నారు. అందరూ ఒక ఫేస్ టు ఫేస్ ఇంటరాక్షన్ కోసం ఒక లెక్చరర్ దగ్గర వెళ్తారు, రైట్? ఎందుకు వెళ్తారు అట్లా? ఫర్ ద బెటర్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద లెక్చర్ దట్ లెక్చరర్ థాట్ ఇన్ ద క్లాస్. అవునా కాదా?
అవును.
దానికో అట్లాగే ఇంటర్పర్సనల్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ అనేది చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఎక్కడ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్, ఏ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ అయినా కానీ దేనికోసం అంటే ఫర్ ద బెటర్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఫంక్షనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆర్గనైజేషన్. ఓకే, research has linked loneliness with a variety of negative characters such as self-esteem, depression, illness, and higher rate of suicide. Recently, interpersonal communication researchers have also demonstrated the relationship between loneliness and impaired social skills. Although the effects of social psychological characters of people on traditional mass media such as television news have become the subject of intense interest, less attention has been paid to the impact of loneliness on the use of new media. The organizations have to inculcate the spirit of relationship through interpersonal communication. That is the reason we ask you, continuously speak in the colleges. It should not be a monologue and it should not be a one-way communication. When a lecturer comes into a class, she simply, should not go line by line and leave the class. When and the reader, when she explains even a small concept, she should have a pause for at least few seconds and find out from the students, is the lecture okay? Is the topic understood? Okay, that is how you make your students to speak. That is how you make your teammates working in a team to speak out, whether the message is understood, whether it is not understood, whether it is confusing, whether it is better understood. What best you can do, you can improve based on this interpersonal communication. That is the reason we have face-to-face contact or face-to-face communication that is happening for the better understanding between the sender and the receiver. The rapid diffusion of new communication technologies like pager, mobile phones, personal computers, cable, and interactive TV, VCD, and DVD transform the way of working, play, and interactions with others. It can be better utilized in interpersonal communication by the organization. The prime objective of communication are in order of importance: effectiveness and economy. Effectiveness is essential. Telephone calls or letters are neither effective nor economical if they are not successful in getting needed information across. Role and impact of oral communication in employees and community relations. Oral communication is the best way of communication. Oral communication is the best way of communication. It gives the advantage of informing the receiver the exact message depending on the level of the receiver. Oral communication. What am I doing now? I have a oral dialogue. I'm teaching orally. I'm using my extempo to speak out. And what am I doing? I'm not keeping my lecture purely in English. When and where they're needed, I'm, shifting my lecture for the better understanding of the receivers. I keep my lectures few topics in Telugu as well. I explain few things in Telugu. Why? Just to get down to the level of the receivers. All the receivers are not in a position to understand the lecture in a flow in a direct English. For the better understanding of a message, I keep my lecture bilingual. Is it okay? Is it clear? Depending on the level of the receiver, the message should be modified in such a fashion that it should be better understood at the receiver's end. We can explain him in his own language and in detail, but it may not be possible when a large groups are concerned. In case the communicator is ineffective, the message may not percolate to the desired level. Percolate in the sense of reaching, but it has the feel of personal touch. The chairman and am I audible? Guys, are you there?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes,
The chairman and the managing director addressing the employees on the achievements and problems faced by the organization in detail will definitely give an impression of personal touch. The reaction of employees will be positive and proactive. They will rise to the occasion to save the organization and strive hard to keep up the image of the institutions. So a chairman or a manager, whenever he is having a meeting with his fellow employers, he should be putting his message in a polite way, in a better understanding of the receivers. However, how the company is performing, what are the loopholes, what best can be done to cope up its level. So, in such a fashion that it should motivate the receivers, the teammates, or the employers. Okay. Sending a written communication in such cases may not yield good results. Just sending a circular to the employees may not be effective compared to oral communication. When I call all the receivers, all the fellow employers to a boardroom, and I give my whatever explanation I want to give about my institution, about my organization in a oral format, it will have a personal touch. When I send a circular to various departments or the employers through a circular or a notice, it may or might not yield a good results. Okay. Here, in this case, the head of the institution is talking to his employees straight and appeal to them. It will have a profound impact. Profound in the sense of the positive and a highly impacting. Employee is a sensitive person to handle, and to guard his feelings in is very difficult. So direct communication is the best one. Effective communication is necessary for organizational effectiveness. Communication is always a two-way process. It involves a receiver and the sender. Attention to the response or feedback is essential for successful communication. So this is what I'm doing now. Whenever I'm taking a lecture, whether it is offline or online, I pause for some time and ask my receivers whether my message is clear, whether I am audible or not. I'm taking the feedback from the people as well, whether the message is understood, whether the lecture is clear or not. If you have any queries, I may ask you to put on your chat, or you can even explain me, like you can even speak out your words, your whatever things you want to say, like whether you have understood or not.
Madam, of course, madam.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, madam.
Yeah. Empathy is most important. Unless the natural. What is empathy, ma? Anyone? What do you mean by empathy? Anyone?
Concern, ma'am.
What is it? Sorry?
Concern.
Concern. What is
Madam.
sympathy and how is it different and empathy.
In empathy, there is a love and affection.
Anubhuti.
Sharing
About
feelings,
understanding the
madam.
feelings.
Empathy is feeling sad about somebody, having.
Empathy means understanding someone's feeling.
Yes. Just go and give me a moment, ma. 1 second, I'll just get that. Stay online. Yes. That's here taking the class. Why are you shouting?
Hello.
Sorry, guys, and thank you. Staying
Okay.
online. Yeah, what is being empathy, ma? Anyone?
Sharing
Nikita was
feelings of
telling having
another person.
concern. Sorry?
Sharing feelings of another person, madam.
Sharing feelings of other person. It's better than not beyond sharing. It is beyond sharing. Being in their place to feel it.
Ability to
It is
understand,
beyond that.
madam.
Yes, for the better understanding.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless the natural ability of a good manager influences the heart of the employees, he would fail to influence their attitudes. Okay, whatever the manager, in spite of having a good oral communication skills or something, he can be influencing heart of the employees, but their attitudes are unchanged. Attitudinal change is most important for organizational change or growth. These are all the examples, Nana. Peter F. Ducker. We will just skip that. If you want, I'll just read it. Most problems in human relations and in industry begin with the fundamental mistake we make, that other guy knows that we know, and that the other guy sees a situation the same way as we see it. We take it for granted that the other person would understand the situation as we understand it. Oral communication is an important tool in developing countries. In India, since the literacy rate is not so high, oral communication plays a vital role in community relations. In rural areas, the oral tradition is still popular. The rich tradition of oral communication through ballads and plays is ancient in India right from the medieval period. Indian heritage is preserved in these oral traditions. That is the reason, Oggu Katalu, Burra Katalu, whatnot. Yeah, these are all traditional ways of informing people through songs, drama. Okay. Hello.
Yes, madam. We are
Oral
hearing you, madam.
communication is very important, irrespective of the people, whether they are literate or illiterate. Keeping your language to the common language. You mean to say going into a village and having a drama or a song in a pure English or in some French or German will not serve the purpose of your message. You keep your oral communication to a receiver's level. Whatever is the language in common to the sender and the receiver, you will keep your message in that language. So oral communication is very, very popular and very, very effective in changing the attitudes and hearts and thinking process of the receivers. I hope I'm clear with this. Guys, you there, ma?
Yes, madam.
Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, ma'am.
Hello? Am I audible, ma?
Yes, madam. We are listening to you, madam.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Community
madam.
relations. Community. Yes, ma. Siddiq.
Siddiq bhai.
Ma'am, we are
Madam,
here.
Shall I
Madam.
proceed?
Hello.
Madam,
Yes,
Shall I
ma'am.
proceed, ma?
yes, please continue, madam.
Yes, continue, ma'am.
Be louder. It's not audible. Can you please be louder? Or put up your message in the chat box. Somebody, Vijay Krishna, was telling when did the online classes happen? First two chapters. So Vijay Krishna, where I don't know whether you are there still in the class or not, but this online classes for till chapter 2 or 3 we have in a offline mode. Am I right,
Right.
guys? Hello,
Yes, madam.
is someone there? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
We have a
Please continue.
interaction depending on today's lecture.
Madam, today's class is about
What all
to
we have discussed, ma, today? Konda Swami sir, you have raised your hand. Do you have anything to say, sir?
That was from beginning, ma'am.
1 second. Let me check. I'm not able to hear you all properly. If not, can you please put up your message? Ram Mohan sir, Rama Mohan sir, Rama Mohan or Ram Mohan sir. Can you please be louder, whatever you want to speak?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, sir. Somebody is raising their hand also. Konda Swami sir.
That was from beginning, ma'am. I may think means he may not be able to means to close that one.
Yeah,
Acha, acha, acha. Okay, okay.
it was a symbol of instead of
Siddiq, you have anything to say, ma?
no, ma'am. Please continue the class.
Can somebody list out what all we have discussed in today's lecture? Can somebody say what is intrapersonal communication? Is Nikita still there in the class? Be louder, ma. Hello.
madam, communication with oneself and self-to-self communication.
Very good. Very good. List out some examples for this intrapersonal communication. Where does it happen?
On phone
Any
and
example of
screens.
your choice?
In intrapersonal, ma'am,
Yeah, intrapersonal. Intra,
like
T-R-A-I-N.
getting happiness and by smelling a flower. You said that example, and praying to God, we'll get some feelings, we'll get some happiness.
Self-talking, madam.
Very good self-talking.
Sender
Good,
and the receiver will
Nikita.
be the same.
Good, very good. Any other inputs, ma? I
Self,
want all my
self-love.
students to their ideas, their views, their opinions, their doubts.
Within
Yes, sir,
one.
Vijay Krishna. Sir, your voice is not so clear, sir. Hello? Am I audible to other people in the class?
Yes, madam. Very clear.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is all about today's lecture. Anything to share in this class?
Madam, what about assignments, madam?
Assignments, we have got any information regarding that. I'll update you. I'll keep you updated about that.
Thank you.
Let me get a message or some information from the people.
Yes, madam.
I don't know, somebody's voice is not to be so clear or audible to me.
Yes, madam.
Please put up a message in the chat box.
Their voice is breaking, madam.
That's what. Kindly do put up a message in the chat box, ma. So except for the assignments, Inka, any other doubts? I think coming Saturday would be second Saturday, so we'll have classes on Saturday and Sunday as well.
Yes.
Am I right?
Right, madam. Correct, madam.
Yeah. Did you get that message?
Yes, madam. We have, madam.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll ask them to, I'll inquire from them what is status about the assignments and all, and I'll keep you updated about it. Okay.
Yes, madam.
Do your people have a WhatsApp group of your own, like,
Yes, madam. We have
or
two
any
two
other
Yes,
groups.
ma'am.
Okay. I think you'll get a message from them directly, I think.
Yes, Greek outs
Because a
are
list of topics or assignments, I no idea how to scale it about, because this is first of its sorts for me to take classes for you in a distance mode. So let me inquire from them, Nana.
yes, madam.
Except for that, Inka, anything else? Okay. Good to see you all.
Yes, madam. We have 3 more online classes, madam.
Yes, ma. Second Saturday, Sunday, and one more Sunday,
Yes,
right?
madam. 19th, madam. Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
I think so. I don't know. I was expecting these classes in the last month itself, but I don't know. It didn't work out, I believe. Okay,
All right, madam.
let's leave the class. Happy weekend, happy
Thank you, ma'am.
holiday, happy Sunday.
Thank you so much,
Thank
madam.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Good day, beta Nikita. Good
Thank you, madam.
day. See you all in the next
Have a nice
class.
day.
Thank you, ma'am.
हेलो. हाँ, क्लास है 4 बजे तक है. 2 क्लासेस है. अभी से 2 बजे से 3 बजे तक एक क्लास है. फिर 3 बजे से 4 बजे तक एक क्लास है. अभी हाँ, 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 अच्छी बात.